This week on Brooklyn Versus, we're talking New York baseball. We got the Yankees and we got the Mets, and we're going to talk about both organizations. So please like, share, and subscribe to the Bridgeside Network, and let's get the debate going.
Go Bridgeside!
Welcome to another edition of Brooklyn Versus, everybody. My name is Dr. Philly Kaggs. I got to my left Stephen James, and I got the silent partner himself back. So he's not so silent anymore, but Billy Atzis. How's everyone doing today?
Good. So far, so good.
We'll see how it goes.
Oh,
Wearing my Bridgeside swag, so, trying to score a little bit of points with the boss.
you didn't. No, I'm kidding. I'm asking. Well, it was
It's a nice shirt.
either
It's a nice
Bridgeside
shirt.
swag or Mets swag.
I chose the Bridgeside
All right,
swag.
that's my. I will now be impartial for this Yankees versus Mets debate. I had to throw that
I had
in
to throw that in there, just
right
a little
before
dig.
I had to. Okay, here we go. Well, that's what we're talking today, guys. We're talking Yankees versus Mets. So New York's since baseball's been around. New York has been a nice. We won't say it could be number one, but a center of baseball. Whether it had the
sure.
Brooklyn Dodgers, New York Giants, New York Yankees, eventually became the New York Mets. Not that many cities can compare. You have Chicago has multiple and things, but we've always had a very passionate fan base and good organizations. So they're fan base for organizations. So we have the Yankees and we have the Mets. Both are, I believe, very well-known teams for different reasons. I think you have your good, your bad, and a little bit of your ugly, right? So. Do you think the comparison to the Yankees versus Mets, how sometimes it becomes like a little bit of a laughingstock sometimes? Do you think it's more that the Yankees have separated themselves as one of the better franchises in all of sports? Or do you think it's more that the Mets just seem to get snake bitten almost all the time?
It's a little bit of both, in my opinion, because one, the Yankees have the histories. The Mets not coming into the league until considerably later than the Yankees. The Yankees having an incredible run throughout their entire franchise history. But my thing here is, regardless, the Mets have been criminally, especially in the current era, criminally mismanaged. Be it from ownership, be it from training staff, be it from however you want to call it. I'm a diehard Met fan, and it is hard to be a diehard Met fan. It is hard, because you're not going to win the battle of popularity. You're not going to win the battle of brands. The New York Yankees brand is probably the most iconic brand in all of sports.
I would say so.
So you're already starting against the curve.
It's something to be admired in terms of being a Mets fan and continuing to be a Mets fan.
Admired?
It's something to be admired. If you're a fan of a team like that, you've been through war pretty much since the beginning of time. Team is 1961, 62. That's 56 seasons of 54 seasons. 54 seasons of losses and two.
It's just, don't sell us too short.
Well, let's not just say if you didn't win.
You can't compare that argument is anyone in baseball. You can't.
You're not comparing. Even from '62 on, the Yankees have been the superior team.
For sure.
Cutting out that part of the history. You bring up the organization and mismanaged, and that's one thing that always. I'm a Yankee fan. Like I said, I'm going to stay impartial though for today right now. But I am a Yankee fan, and something that's always bothered me looking over the way the Mets run the team is that. We're both in the same market. New York City, the biggest market you can get. And I understand that the Yankees brand is always going to be a little bigger than the Mets. But I feel like the Mets don't tap into the market as much as the Yankees. Like when I hear talk about the Mets, how the Mets have budgets and things like that, that always, if I was a Met fan, that's the thing that would burn me up the most. Like you have teams that call the Yankees the evil empire, obviously.
For sure.
Even though the Yankees don't even have the top 5 salary these next years. The Red Sox have way more than them, but I digress.
They have been known to spend an exorbitant amount, but they get an unfair criticism because they also built a great farm system.
I digress. That's a personal. But
gotcha.
The thing that bothers me is that looking as a Yankee fan, the Yankees sometimes the Mets cut themselves off cut their own knees out because they say, "Oh, we can't spend anymore." You're in this huge market. And you're in a huge market, and sometimes you're operating too much like a small market team.
For sure. Well, it's the attitude of already it's
Wilpons.
treated.
I'm going to put the blame on the Wilpons.
For sure. It's already treated like you're already going to be a second-class citizen in your own town.
Yeah.
So
like the little brother.
So they act like it, unfortunately, which gives the deniability or the victim role for the ownership to be like, oh, well, we're never going to be as popular as the Yankees anyway. So there is less pressure on the New York Mets to perform in New York than there is for the New York Yankees, because there's a different standard of excellence that's expected. For Mets fans, or at least I can only speak for myself, we just want to be in the postseason and have some consistency. You talked about they don't want to spend money. The Bernie Madoff scandal hit the Wilpons huge, but that doesn't excuse everything that came before. They don't want, when they decide to spend money, they spend it on the wrong guys who are, past their prime, or guys who were once names in a Yankee uniform or elsewhere that they're trying to bring in to kind of, here's the wow factor. You still got to produce on the ball field. And they can't seem to do it.
It's been consistent that way too, right? I mean, even up to this year, you're seeing the Cano trade this year. Some are going to say that there's a reason you could be a better baseball team this year, but at the same time, you bring in a 36-year-old guy who's got 4 years and $80 million left in his contract.
5 years.
But hey, remember when he was on the Yankees? He was real good. Dude, let's get some of that feel good.
Yep.
I think the Mets are a snake sometimes. I don't want to say completely bad, because there are worse franchises, but
for sure,
the Mets are a snake bitten franchise for points. And I think the worst thing the Mets have going for them is that they share the backyard with the Yankees.
I can
in
understand
terms
that,
of, I don't want to say the worst thing, because it does keep them in the headlines at the same time. It's always that Yankees-Mets comparison.
But a big free agent, who are they going to choose?
Yeah.
Pinstripes or, the Mets. They're naturally going to pick the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I understand that. So I think it's kind of like a two sides of a coin, the Mets sharing the backyard with the Yankees, because they're never going to be able to eclipse the Yankees in organization stature.
For sure.
Maybe they could take a time period, and we're going to get that into a little bit, like in the 80s was the time the Mets had to and they did. They won over New York.
It was the city, yeah, for sure.
They won over New York for that time period. I mean, they're never, like I said, they're never going to eclipse them history, but they could take them over for a little bit. And I just think sometimes that's too much in the Mets' head, as opposed to, sometimes they're more worried about the back page of the New York Times, Daily News, New York Post, as opposed to what's going on in the field.
That's the ownership, and that's the culture that they have created there. Like I said, the little boy syndrome, or the little brother syndrome, as you put it. We're always trying to punch up and worry about the Yankees, as opposed to worrying about putting a great training staff together. How many injuries must this team suffer before every one of that training staff? I hate to say people need to lose their jobs, because people have families to support, but these people need to lose their jobs. If you're that bad at your job, and consistently these people are getting injured in ways that boggle the mind, you shouldn't have a job.
The criminality that you show about on the Mets side, though, at the same time, the reflection of that is in the Yankees side, where it's just operationally, from end to end of what they do, it is known for excellence, and it really comes true. It matters for who they manage to go out and sign in international free agency. The battery of trades have been made by the front office over the last, 8-10 years, that are the little moves to make the right little decisions. And even just quietly, the analytics revolution, they've been on the forefront of at the same time. It's just they don't do it through the big flashy things. They don't do the super aggressive things. They let some of the other teams go out first and ride herd over a change to bring in an opener to start a game. But we might see that now in the first month of the season for the Yankees. They let somebody else go out and do some of this stuff first, but they're always on the forefront of the change at the same time.
I will make a last point, and unfortunately, the Yankees are also not, to keep it in part, the Yankees are not infallible. They do make their mistakes. You talk about signings, Kiyagawa, Carl Pavano, Hideki Rob, they've made, and right now I think they're going to live and die by the analytics a little too much right now. And I think that came out against the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox harness the analytics and also have room for a little bit elsewhere. I'm not saying analytics don't work, but you need a little bit of room for elsewhere. I think the Yankees are too much into a box of the analytics right now and don't have that little room. But we'll talk about that, in a little bit, maybe with the, and you also got to remember the Yankees did have some embarrassing times. I mean, you had George Steinbrenner suspended from baseball because he hired a PI to get bad press on Dave Winfield so he could negate his contract.
Yeah.
So
there's
the
a lot of
Yankees are not immune
for sure.
to their crazy stuff just the way the Mets. Maybe it's just being in New York, guys. We're always getting a little bit crazy. But we mentioned a little bit about the glory days of the Mets, and they did have a run. It was crazy, as we just mentioned. The Yankees have had their fair share of glory days as well.
Impartial, but I like how you put their fair share. He's trying to be humble. It's a humble brag.
I just knocked
Humble
the
brag.
Yankees.
To set it up, you're setting it up.
So we had the glory days. I'm going to start with Bill. Bill, we're going to talk about the Yankees' glory days. I think we'll keep it a little more recent. You got the 50s with DiMaggio, and then Mantle in the 50s, and then the 60s with Mantle and Maris. But
all of the decades.
Our recent
Long time ago.
Our recent run in the 90s.
It was amazing.
And up until now.
It was
So
amazing.
we can't go early 90s. That's when Steinberg got... I'll give you one carryover. Steinberg got suspended.
Yep.
Gene Michael took over, drafted Jeter, held on to Bernie Williams, held on to Rivera, and then Steinberg came back, and I'll lead it right into you.
We had it right from the strike season where the Yankees were leading the division at the time that the season ended. Came right back in '95, extremely competitive in Jeter's first year, and then we had a chance to actually come out and make it to the playoffs and lose to that game 5 against Griffey.
Yeah,
That's
great
more
Mariners
Mattingly's
team.
last year than Jeter's.
Right.
Mattingly's last year.
And it's sad. It's sad to hear that era was completely without the anchor of the team for 12 years.
For sure.
And then he transitioned right into this beautiful era where it was Jeter's team, but it was Jeter's teams with the core four that allowed everything to just roll forward because you had Jeter, you had Bernie, you had Pettit, and you had Mo in the back end of the bullpen.
Don't forget a guy like Paul O'Neill, who is very often overlooked, but a guy who kind of coming from those Reds teams and stuff like that, like really solidified that
100%.
that dugout.
Tino helped a lot. Also, when Tino came along, he had a huge first half. Came from the Mariners, right? Came right off that team. But even like the smaller guys that you don't talk about as much, like Charlie Hayes playing third base in '96, or the Scott Brocious that came in, it was the '98 to 2000 teams. I mean, that era and that team was incredible. '98 and '2000 were both two of the best seasons of baseball that we played.
It was the best season of baseball of all time, and that was what that era too really talks about exactly what you mentioned before about these little signings. They just picked guys out and they just performed. Scott Brocious, guy wasn't all of a sudden he's 100 RBIs in the 9th position.
Mariano Duncan.
You trade for
Wade Boggs, a guy who was kind of down on the backside of his career, still able to perform.
Trade for Chili Davis, he does good. Trade for Cecil Fielder, he does good. You got Tino Martinez, he was doing good. They really had a way of plugging in guys and would do extremely well for them.
And at the same time, they took the knife and turned it on the Mets.
Concerned about what's about to happen right
Something
now.
might explode, but we're going to stick with it. They took the remote to the camera.
Yeah, I think it's the remote to the camera.
Yeah, we're don't worry,
working
guys.
it.
But
We're gonna survive.
yeah, we're gonna take care of these things here, folks. Nobody wants this.
Billy's got
Nobody
it.
wants
Bill's
this.
here.
We'll take.
Oh!
We got it. We're good.
We needed another Mr. Bridgeside in here. Is Mr.
Come on, folks.
It's a family relation.
But so you had these years, and just to turn the knife, and I apologize on behalf of the Yankees. What does Steinbrenner and the team go out and do? They sign Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden.
Doc Gooden throws a no-hitter. Mets had never thrown a no-hitter. Johan finally did it.
It's terrible.
The Mets had never thrown a
Feels
no-hitter.
good, but
and
it's
then
terrible.
Gooden throws his
Don't forget
first
David
year.
Cohn. David Cohn was another guy who played exceptionally well for both teams. Now, mind you, Doc Gooden had his best seasons
Oh,
with
not even
the
close.
Mets, not even close. But he still was able to contribute to the Yankees on World Series caliber teams year after year. So
Yeah.
And that 90s Yankees and into 2000s, still they were great in the 2000s. They didn't win the titles as much as they did in the 90s. They were still a very, very good team.
it was the last period of baseball that was almost mythical.
That 90s was the 4 out of 5. You had the face of a franchise that became unarguably the face of baseball for a little while in Jeter. But before that, the Yankees had a tough run.
Yeah.
They were. You look at if you're a Yankee fan now, you can't imagine Yankee Stadium being empty. That's one thing that Yankees have. The Yankees have, from the time that I've been watching baseball, I've had amazing fans always turn out to the stadium, always turn out. I'm saying that I could watch. But in the 80s, you saw some empty stadiums. You mentioned Paul O'Neill. I just want to say why Yankee fans are great. I don't know, one of my favorite moments of Paul O'Neill Yankee fans was Game 5, 2001 World Series, when it was O'Neill's, let me try to figure, it was top of the ninth, so it couldn't be the bottom ninth. It was top of the ninth because O'Neill was on the field, and the Diamondbacks were winning the game before Brocious hit the home run.
Yeah.
So that was going to be O'Neill's. O'Neill said it was his last season. That was O'Neill's last game in Yankee Stadium because they were going back to Arizona for Game 6 and Game 7. And the crowd for the entire, and even Joe Buck mentions it, but the crowd for the whole top of the ninth inning was just chanting Paul O'Neill the whole inning because they thought it was a send-off. He ended up having to go back out for the 10th, 11th, and 12th because the game went.
But they didn't know.
But they didn't know. But that was really a magical fan moment and Paul O'Neill. But we were talking about there were empty stadiums in the 80s.
Yeah.
And why were there empty stadiums? Because the Mets had their glory days.
The Mets had a great run between 84 to about, I want to say, 89-90 was really where they were competitive teams. The Yankees put on some terrible ball clubs, like guys like Kevin Moss and like Matt Noakes, and just Don Mattingly saddled with team after team that just couldn't get things going.
That late 80s got bad for the Yankees. But
the Mets had, especially in 85 and 86, getting Gary Carter in there, bringing in, guys like Lenny Dykstra, Wally Backman. All of these guys finally came together under the tutelage of Davey Johnson. And having a great pitching staff.
Now the core of their announcing staff.
Yeah.
Which
Lee Mazzilli, a guy like Lee Mazzilli.
Yeah.
That team was rock stars. That was the thing about them. They played hard. They partied hard. They were constantly in the news. I think they won 110 games that year.
108, I believe it was.
108,
wow.
Sorry.
86, yeah.
They just everything about them. Charisma. My favorite player of all time, Gary Carter, just destroying the baseball, hitting, multiple home run games, 3 home runs, just his inner Reggie Jackson coming out.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful time to be a baseball fan, and they owned the city. They owned New York at that time.
Imagine if they, focused more on baseball, to be honest. And that's the one thing about that Met glory days. Also has a very Met thing to it. If you talk to anyone who was the Mets could have put a dynasty together
for sure
with that team.
Yeah,
talent.
Doc Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, all these guys coming up. They didn't even make the playoffs the next year in '87. They made the playoffs in '88, but they lost to the Dodgers.
In an incredible series.
And then that was it, and it was gone. And then just like that, it was gone. By 89, 90, no one was talking about the Mets going to the World Series.
Because they started piecing, a lot of the core guys were already on the tail end of their prime, like guys like Keith Hernandez, guys like Gary Carter.
Destroyed their primes too, unfortunately.
Through partying and all that stuff, for sure. Lenny Dykstra is a guy, Darryl Strawberry, Doc Gooden, a lot of guys were like that.
Yeah. But it's amazing that they worked so well together as a team during that era.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're winning, it's the cure-all for everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest teams of all time.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
Well, we're at a new season now. And this is I'm going to quote Mr. Bridgeside here, so you can't accuse me of being partial. Okay. As Mr. Bridgeside says, this is the best time of the year. These first 3 weeks for the Mets are the best. First 3 weeks of the season, the best time to be a Mets fan piece. They're going to hit the cover off the ball. They're going to have a great record.
It's the only time you get to be optimistic.
But like there's a great saying by even like baseball has this poetic feel about it. Baseball disappears in winter. When I went to San Francisco and I went to Pac Bell, AT&T, whatever it's called anymore.
Old Navy Park or something.
I don't know what it's called anymore. But a great quote along the stadium. It talks about how like winter, baseball leaves us when we need it the most in winter. Everything gets cold and everything. But then as spring, as we start to feel reborn, baseball comes right back around and hits in a stride. So it does have this poetic feel about it that when the season starts getting nicer and the days get longer.
Hair starts to stand on end.
Yeah, and you start to feel more enjoyable. Here comes baseball strolling back into our lives, and that's where we are now. At a slow pace.
And
that's where we are. And that's where we are now. So, how do you think of the 2019 Mets?
I think that if everyone can get on the field healthy consistently, we have a shot to win 85 games, 80 games. The 90, 95 game thing. Here's the thing. The NL East got considerably better.
That's the biggest problem.
That's the thing that stinks. Right when the Mets are like, okay, we're making some strides here. We might be able to put, Bryce Harper comes over. The Braves improve tremendously.
He was always in the East. He didn't leave. You were hoping he was going to leave the East, and he just stays.
But he went to a Phillies team that is already on the cusp of being
got a lot
and then loaded up.
They loaded up, yeah.
So the NL East is sitting there as a powder keg where, okay, the Mets might be a fourth-place team and still
with
win.
85.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's become considerably more competitive. Not to say that the AL East with, the Red Sox there and the Yankees aren't going to be competitive because, the Bo Sox are still the team to beat.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the thing. The Mets did get better. I did like some of their moves. Some of their moves did leave you scratching your head a little bit, but I think overall they got better. The problem was that, like you said, the Nationals, even though they lost Harper, I feel like they made a couple of good moves. Harper didn't leave the East. He went to the Phillies. The Phillies got better. The Braves won the division last year. They're still young. They didn't necessarily add people to get better, but that team is a team that you expect to mature a little bit. The only team that they get better is the Marlins. The Marlins, I mean, they're the
Marlins.
They're dumpster fire.
Their intentions are clear right now. They don't want anything to do with winning a game.
Yeah.
So, that I think the biggest problem with the Mets was what everyone else did. Because the Mets, like you said, they went out there and got better. You got a couple guys you look forward to seeing. Pete Alonso, when he gets it, he's been hitting the cover off the ball.
Seeing Conforto continue to develop.
Agree. I like Conforto a lot. I think I expect him to take a step to get better too. You hope that he continues to do that. You got young guys like Nimmo.
We'll live and die with our pitching
McNeil.
staff.
Yeah.
So there are young players that you need that this year could be a big year for stepping. If those young guys show you that last year when they showed signs of being good, weren't just flukes or whatever you want to be.
Consistent.
And they can be more consistent. So even if you don't win the division this year or even a wild card, if you come away with 85, 87 wins, it'll be a good year for the Mets because you would feel more confident going into next year as well.
For me, a victory for the Mets this season isn't even making the playoffs at this point. It's to be competitive and to be healthy. If we can show that our not even just our star players, our young guys who can put together a run of games on the ball field, it's a grind. I understand that the Major League Baseball season doesn't get enough credit for how long and how brutal it is on the body. But like I said before, with the training staff, you have to find ways to keep these guys on the field. You have to find ways to keep them healthy. If it's limiting their time, fine. If it's just doing something different in the training regimen, fine. But you got, guy after guy getting hamstring injuries, lower back injuries constantly and consistently. You're doing something wrong.
Sessers will be back soon. So
I'm not holding my breath.
What do you think of the outlook for the New York Yankees?
Oh, the Yankees' outlook this year is fantastic, except for the fact that their pitching might all just fall apart one day, like already. I mean, we're dealing with Severino right now, who's already out for the month of April, right? He threw in 4 games this spring before he actually went down, and you're talking about it's only March. It's the middle of March, and you already have one of the big guys down. CeCe's likely not going to be ready for day one. Montgomery
suspended the first 5 games, so it actually works out anyway.
So, luckily we have that backing us up. Then we have Montgomery might be back in August, right? And then after that, it's basically you have Paxton, who is traditionally only thrown about 150 innings per year, right? So you're talking about that's a 22 start kind of guy, and you have Happ, who actually doesn't get injured that often, so at least you have him on the back end of the rotation who's likely going to be there. And Tanaka, he's only got a quarter of a ligament holding the shoulder together right now, so you got to wait to see what's going to happen.
He's been doing it for a few years.
He has, but you have to expect at some point that's going to go.
Well, I feel like the Yankees prepared for this a little bit with stacking up their bullpen the way they did. They have the best bullpen in the league, but they need their starters. Their stars' health is super important because it's not as deep. Unless you get a couple games from guys like Jonathan Loaisaga and Domingo Germán.
Have them
talented arms.
They're going to start.
Talented arms.
I mean, Aaron Boone's only going to want 4 or 5 innings from them, to be honest with you. But that's why you need you guys like Happ, Tanaka, Paxton. They need to carry the load right now. You need good games from those guys.
100%.
Because you're not sure what you're going to get from everyone. Sabathia, you'll get you a little bit from him.
Where's Bartolo Colon?
The hitting is insane.
Let's bring Bartolo Colon back to the Mets and the Yankees at the same time.
The lineup looks great. I think they made a great sign. We're getting Tulowitzki and DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu is a very good utility guy. He could play all around to take spots because Didi's obviously out till July-ish, I believe.
That Yankees lineup is really hard to pitch to because everywhere in the lineup you go, there's power from both sides of the plate.
Yep.
Well, that's one thing.
The depth is incredible too.
Lefty is not so. They really don't have a big left-handed hitter because we don't know who the first baseman of the Yankees is right now.
Yeah.
It's still between Voit and Bird.
You can't expect that Bird's going to be the heavy bat that everybody hoped that he was going to be.
Yeah, well,
which is crazy to see how
the Yankees are really holding on to it. But I think 2019, I have a good outlook for. The Red Sox are still a team to beat, but you always hope for a little bit of that World Series hangover.
For sure.
And then you hope that their bullpen, which has holes, they didn't sign Kimbrel. It had holes last year, now they don't have Kimbrel. You hope that hole gets exposed more and more. And if they come back down just a little bit more to earth, I think the Yankees could overpass them. But you still got to hang your hat on the Red Sox being the team to beat. They had an unbelievable year last year. And until otherwise,
they're the reigning champions.
You said, they're the number one team in that division right now. But we got a good outlook. I think we got a good outlook for both New York teams this year.
It's the first time for the Mets where I am a little bit more
that. You guys made the World Series.
optimistic.
You made the guys World Series in 2015. You weren't optimistic in 2016?
No.
It's a Mets fan.
Straight from a Mets fan. That is a Mets fan, people. We will delve into Mets fans eventually, but that is a microcosm. They made the World Series, and then the next year, he wasn't optimistic.
There's no evidence to support that I would be.
This is... no.
We'll get to it.
There's an episode for this.
But anyway, guys. Well, we're going to have a Yankees versus Mets battle here.
A battle?
For a little challenge.
All right.
So
this seems fair.
We're lining up with a home run derby from
we got to share
the show.
We got to share. It's only one controller. That's okay.
So, the cover boy of MLB show, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge
He's going to be in this home run derby. And we went to the Mets. We found their best power hitter, Yoenis Cespedes.
He's our best golfer, too.
Yeah, he's still
like a 3 handicap.
I think they.
I don't know. He's a
They also just
handicapped
reconstructed his heels.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. But he'll be back soon, eventually.
Yeah, look at the power advantage.
He'll be back next year. Next year's his contract. Yeah, he's going to hit the cover of
He's going
football.
to crush the
next
ball.
year.
That's right.
So
But anyway, we're coming to the home run
Bill
derby. Home run derby next year. We talked about this. Remember we talked about prize incentive and we talked about our All-Star for the Pro Bowl. Did you hear baseball?
No, what are they doing?
They're putting like a $2 million bonus into the home run derby.
All right, you guys are signing up.
We talk about incentivizing. Here we go. Cespedes first hits one to left field. He speeds it up a little bit.
Nope.
I didn't even see where it landed, but it landed. That means it's not a home run. So we got 4 minutes each. I'll run down the format real quick. We got 4 minutes each. As many home runs as you can get, that's going to be the winner. If you hit 2 home runs that total more than 440 feet,
He's making good contact.
you will get a bonus 30 seconds.
I'm just trying to get one at this point.
We are 40 seconds in and we have not seen a home run yet. And Cespedes hits one foul. And there we go.
And we're here at lovely Shea
Stadium. We went back in time.
I think he'll hit a home run.
Billy's not even going to go his 4
He'll hit a
minutes.
home run.
No, he didn't hit a home run yet. You'll foul the ball if it's a home run. And Cespedes gets into one to left.
There we go.
That one should be gone.
Meat and
432.
potatoes. What do I need,
want to get to 440. Oh, Cespedes gets a home run. He sped that one up 3. You can let the home run
let it go?
every
Okay.
now and then. Oh, that's going to be foul. Is it?
Just caught the corner.
And the pitch again to Cespedes. Cespedes gets into one to left. That ball's in far. Wait,
It's
that's got a lot of height on it.
Hanging. Bye. Pelota.
Oh, what are you, John Miller? I think John Miller's calling San Francisco Giants. I'll try to give calls.
Oh, that's not going.
I'll try to give the calls of. It's out of here! I'll try to give some calls of famous announcers. What's that? That's the radio guy out of here. Is that Gary Cohen?
That's Gary Cohen.
It's Gary Cohen. It's out of here! Cespedes to that's in the gap.
That's a
Frozen
good,
rope.
That's a good baseball.
That's not what we're looking for here. Cespedes hits one to the left. Back.
Nope.
At the track, will it go?
No.
See ya!
Yeah, I'm the Kofi Kingston of this.
7.
Believe in me.
A little wrestling drop.
You gotta believe.
Cespedes hits another one to left.
Welcome
You
to
can
this
put it
show.
on the board. Gone.
That's still
Whoa,
going.
470. You need one more.
Top that.
Got 6 home runs already.
Cespedes.
Oh, man.
One to the left.
That's hanging too much.
Bye-bye,
that's out.
baseball. 405.
This is some Miracle Met stuff right here.
I'm running out of calls. I don't know that many. I gave you 4. That's not too bad.
All right, come on.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, I need another one.
You have some John Sterling in you?
Cespedes. Oh, well, I need a nickname for this. I'll wait for Judge. I know his nickname. Cespedes. Eyeballs hit
See ya.
to left
That could
field.
be-
See ya.
Go! Oh!
Oh, got that
Actually,
30-second bonus.
You don't see it hit up there very often in real
A
life.
Cespedes for the rest of us?
Oh!
Very
Can we do
nice.
that? Can we do that?
But, well, just out of here.
It's a good Seinfeld.
Look, that's actually a great one. It's a shame that Sterling doesn't call Met games, though. I tell you, if Cespedes ever gets traded to the Yankees,
Look,
We got a call.
that would be a
Trademarking
Mets
that.
move.
it's definitely Cespedes to the rest of us. Cespedes, 9 home runs. You really had a good
bad.
showing so
Not
far.
bad.
And you have the 30-second bonus once you get to it. This isn't over yet.
I'm also rocking with a 77.
Oh, another
Get
one.
out.
Tell
Oh.
that's
Get
gone.
out.
That, you knew right off the get. Ooh,
Is that more time? You got more time.
30
seconds?
seconds
Oh.
now. Wow, Stephen James
Whoa.
coming up.
Well, that doesn't help.
Maybe it's the Shea Stadium. It's the.
Yeah.
Did Cespedes ever
Home
play
field
in Shea?
advantage right there.
No, right?
No.
Cespedes gone again. A long way. 449.
Another 40.
470 is the tops so far.
Let's see if they show a homer chart afterwards. I think they did.
Chicks dig the long ball.
That's
Isn't
a
that the
great
saying?
commercial.
Yeah.
You remember that commercial?
Yeah. I used to have the T-shirt. No, that's the last one. Anticlimactic.
Let's see if they show a home run shot here. Cespedes, a very, very good showing.
Not bad. We do it for the people.
What, 4 minutes, what, 11 homers?
He looks pissed.
It's not bad.
No homer chart. Forget it.
No, you don't need it.
Aaron
Maybe
Judge,
at the
baby.
end. I know 470 is
He
the
looks
tops.
gigantic in the baseball game.
He's a big
He's
guy.
a gigantic person.
He's a big guy. Stanton is
He's
too.
280 pounds or something like. He's 6'7", 280.
I don't know if it's 280, but
He's a hefty
260, I'd say, if
gentleman.
I had to guess. Here we go. They got it back.
God.
No
Doesn't
pressure.
fit.
11 to. Oh, he swings and misses on the first one.
With her.
I don't believe it. Not a good start. A better start. That ball's hit deep to right. What? No.
No.
I think it's going to hang up there.
Yes. There you go. It's not that I don't want you to win.
Judge.
It's that I want you to lose.
This one has a little more life to it.
Come on now, Judge.
Off the wall. We're going to remember that one. Off the wall. He's trying to go
Shea
hot ball.
Stadium is
No
too
way.
big. It's just too big.
Yeah,
Give me the hop.
338.
Trying to go hot
338.
ball.
This was Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that ball. He got into
That's
that
gone.
one to the second.
That's
No,
gone.
it's hanging.
Oh, my.
Oh,
That's-
Judge. Stephen James going with the reverse.
I got to hit like everyone out now. This is it.
You got to hit. I don't know what you're going to do.
Remember, you can move the thing around if you need to.
Does it really work?
I don't know.
Trying to get in your head.
I'm just
Trying to get in
saying.
your head right now.
Look, we all,
Judge.
All right.
That's into one to
That's-
left. That should be
See, you
gone.
moved it and it
That's in the
worked.
power zone.
455. All right, we got one.
So you need one
All
more for 30
right.
seconds.
Judge, jury, execution.
We all know that my nemesis is.
All
right, there we go.
He's got
30
the bonus.
seconds.
Here we go. He's got to get into a rhythm here. Oh, and there goes
nope,
that.
there.
Lazaro
Nice
is
start.
my nemesis in the video
That's true.
game, so this is just for fun.
Judge tries to go the other way again.
He's got it.
Oh, Judge.
Have you ever
is
been
just-
to Veterans Stadium?
No, and that
In
ball's
the
hit
old,
a mile.
the old Philly?
No.
Oh, it was terrible. The seat
Oh,
broke under
that was
my-
pure
Yeah.
turf, right?
It was garbage. That's what it was.
440.
Might as well
Judge
have
has
been
got 2 minutes.
Staten Island.
He's got to get about. You just hit everywhere. Judge has to get about. Judge has to get 6 to 7 homers here.
There's like a 5-foot radius around me that I enjoy. I enjoy this
I am
road.
going gap to gap right now.
You're trying to hit the ball on the. Oh,
Ooh, he tore the cover off
Nope.
of that one, foul.
forget this one's in the book. Cespedes one.
Oh, don't try.
Oh, and Judge just went to the left. Gone. Here we go, Judgy.
Got a 30-second gimmick.
Come on, baby.
He still got the 30-second gimmick too, so
on,
there's plenty of time. I had a
I
lot
hope
in the
this is
second
not a
half.
forecast on the season. This is not a good start.
Judge. No,
I
he
would
got
love
under
it.
that one. That one's not getting out.
Yeah,
I will say this, that the Mets did win the last head-to-head meeting between.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was
You
the
guys-
last time Cespedes played.
You guys got the Lifetime Series, you guys got 20 games.
Judge, gosh. All right, Judge.
Still haven't beat my furthest.
Oh, fouls it straight back.
See, here's the thing. If I
He needs
lose,
6 in the next minute.
I still got, yeah.
That's plenty of
Because he's got
time.
30
Come on now. What happened to 30-second bonus?
You will.
After the original time, that's when it kicks in.
Oh, bonus time. Okay, gotcha.
385. Just made it over. Here's your last regulation. In all likeliness. Tries to
That's
go oppo
gone.
again.
Ooh.
No. All right, win the 30-second bonus. No. There's a
He
buzzer
gets a
one.
0.
Oh, but way foul. All right. 30-second bonus. I don't
got it
think
right
it's
here.
possible at 5 home runs.
Nope.
Just 30 seconds.
I believe in you.
No, you Judge, it's what
It's
this
your,
is.
trying to be
it's your
positive.
faith in me. There we go.
423.
Got plenty of time.
Now this is in the books.
Get
Judge.
out.
All right. And
It was-
Cespedes takes it. The Mets take it. The underdog story.
right. You've won March.
As they usually do.
Yeah, I'll take March. I'll take one victory. I came, I saw, I conquered in the name of the glory of the blue and orange.
That was some
Yo,
shit.
and Cespedes.
That was some soliloquy by Stephen James right there. I think we have to end on that. The passion of the Cespedes victory in the home run derby. And that's what Met fans hang their hats on.
Something, gotta have
But
something.
anyway.
forward.
So, as the impartial judge, what can I say? As a Yankee fan, I'm a little disappointed in you, Bill. But what can I tell you? But you saved us from blowing up, so that helped.
True.
So you get a pass because
Thank you.
who knows what this remote was going
Oh,
to do to
still
us.
you find a way to, you give them a pass? The Mets beat the
He
Yankees
saved
here.
our lives.
Saved our lives. It was a loud pitch noise, that's all. Mets win.
Take that Mets win. That's
Take
it.
I'll take it. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. You don't have to
he's
tell me to
taking
take it. I'm taking it.
Anyway, guys, that's it for Brooklyn versus this week. Tune in tomorrow to Bridgeside Live. We got Rashid Amir. He's going to have another great performance for you guys on Bridgeside Live right here in Bridgeside Studios in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. For Stephen James, for Billy Attis, I'm Dr. Philly Keggs. Have a great night, everybody.
Let's go
Always
Mets.
correct a little bit on that last
A
one.
little bit. Hopefully I got the Let's Go Mets on.